Army Painter Speed Paints 2.0. I've recently come across this thanks to Mungo, and started to experiment with this as I needed a faster way to paint more like terrain pieces and other things as well, but I needed it quick and still decent looking. Now, when I started experimenting with this, I will say, in the end, I would still recommend it, definitely. But there is a different couple ways that you can preset your miniature before you start painting that kind of will possibly, make a little bit of a better outcome in the end. And I will show you the differences. Let's start with this Khajiit, let's just say. This one came from Eldritch Foundry. I made it on there, had it shipped out, and we'll just take a quick look over. Now, as you can see, this isn't my comic booking that I normally do. This is actually a much darker palette than I kind of typically work with. I will say this is just straight up primer and color on top. The only kind of extras I did that was not speed paint color was this kind of like where it gets like solid colors right here, trying to outline the armor a little bit. That is with actual regular paint that I would use like from Vallejo or something. I just kind of added some little tiny extra touches to kind of help make this overall pop, as it just kind of seemed to all blend together. As you see, there was a little bit of pooling on and off here, but not too terrible. Again, this was like one of the first few pieces I kind of tested it on, especially for like a character. I just went back and, brought some details to the ears. The eyes is very important, and a little bit of the nose, a little bit of her armor, nothing major. And then we'll come back here, and I added a little bunny guy, because why not? And as you see, he comes up pretty dark. He has a little crossbow on him as well. My camera wants to focus on him. The only thing I kind of did here is bring out the little nose, a little bit of cheeks going on here, or his lips or whatever, his chest, toes, and inner ears. This is just adding the very simplistic extra little details just to help make it pop. As you can see, there's some right here. Overall, I kind of darkened. I think I also did my spray started to spackle a little bit. So what I did here was place a black base, a white primer on top, and then I started coloring. As again, you can see the little speckles in her arm because of my white spray was being a jerk and didn't want to work very well. Now, the only issue I've noticed here is this is not the true color that I picked. This is mudding. This is when the paint kind of reactivates with the paint underneath, I'm pretty sure. And it starts to kind of make this dark, muddy kind of color. So there's a lot of mudding going on with this one. And this is where I changed things up just a little bit on the next one. Now let's take a look at this goblin. I was just kind of messing around on Eldritch Foundry, and I was like, you know what, I don't have like a bajillion goblins in my campaign like pre-painted, so I was like, I'm gonna make another goblin. And then I saw you can add little animals to it, and then I saw this little French bulldog, I think. And I had to add it. It had to come on here. Plus, he gets a freaking cigar and a little outfit, so he came with it. Not that goblins and dogs really like each other, but in this case they do. So the difference you might have possibly noticed already is that this palette is already brighter than the one before. So if you see side by side, this is a bit more mudding. This has like no mudding. This would not be considered mudding. This is just pooling of too much paint in one area where I kind of should have just sucked it up with the brush a little bit. But the palette is brighter. Now, what helped me accomplish this was starting with a black base coat, another white highlight, and then I sealed it. Now, by sealing it, there's no possibility where when I start coloring, the color cannot seep into the prior layer and reactivate. It's already sealed, and now you're putting color on top of that, so that actually brings it to like the brightest shade of color. And then the darker, like in between the ear right here in the recessed area, is where it does its job by doing self shading, and then you have the self highlights that come out much more clear than before. I think oops. So with this one, I like the overall look that came out better, as there's no mudding going on. Now the speckle again is because of my spray paint. I just used a can, so it might be kind of at the end of its life, so it starts to do that little spackle crap effect. But regardless of that, this is not supposed to be my normal top tier like painted ones where I go all out. This is supposed to be like, I want this done in like an hour. Maybe, there goes my cat, maybe a little more, and that's about it. And again, I just slapped on colors, just slapped on solid colors, and from there I added just a little bit of extra detail. So again, you have his nose, inner dog ear. I brought out his little, I want to make sure you can actually tell the difference between like his little outfit that's going on here, so I added the white to it. I think I added just a tiny bit of comic booking just to kind of help pop out those places. And again, she got like pink added to her, and their eyebrows, the lips kind of a fail, but whatever, it's still there. And then again, her outfit, we have a little bit of just added, just something quick, nothing crazy, but enough to kind of help bring it all together. And again, this was able to finish, and I think by like an hour, maybe a tiny bit more, but very quick paint than my usual ones, as a normal miniature tends to take about 4 to 6 hours. So this was a great like alternative way. So if you like to paint but don't have a ton of time to do it, and you just need it enough just to throw it on the table that looks kind of okay, I mean, you don't even have to take it as far as this by even adding the extra detail. That's just my inner me, where I'm like, I need more detail than that. But it's still a very quick and easy way to go. The paint's going pretty nicely. However, I do strongly suggest that you add that sealant on after you've primed your minis, and if you want to like enhance that highlight effect that these paints automatically do, I feel that it's best to do that darker primer, lighter coat on top of it, and then seal it so nothing can mud, and then start adding all your paint in. Sorry, I was spraying earlier, as you can see. But yeah, so in the end, I would definitely say I would recommend these. They're quick, they're easy. They are a little pricey, but what paint isn't anymore, honestly? But yeah, if you want to paint but you don't have that time, this is a great alternative. Or even you're starting, this is a great way to kind of teach you like where these highlights kind of happen, and where the dark recess and the shadows come effect. Like, take a look, like her inner ankle right here, you have a lighter part here right under there, you see that shading going on, and between the toes are going to be a little bit darker, just stuff like that. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool way to kind of learn where the shadings go, because I still suck at that normally anyway. But yeah, I think in the end I would approve of this. I think it's pretty cool. And if you try it out, I hope the tip will help you with at least sealing it after, to help bring out those colors even more strongly like they're supposed to come on. Yeah, hope it helped.